So we are live on Facebook.
Okay.
So to all the viewers out there, welcome to the 13th episode of Saturday Sorted Stories, the live talk show with Chandrayan Gupta, a 21-year-old energetic young boy from Kolkata. So I'm calling him a boy again because I'm again not going to reveal my age. So he's an author, a blogger, and a law student who aspires to build his own identity as a self-published author. He is a thoughtful person who writes on different blogs on topics ranging from mental health to writing advice and more. So, all the viewers who want to be authors and are looking for somebody who could guide them, he's the right man. And I'm Gaurav Tanwar, your host for the day. Rest, we have shared links of his different social media handles where he's available. So we'll start with what he thinks about the world, saying it feels like the world's a rubber band stretching to its limits. Sooner or later, it will snap and everyone will come crashing down on us. Welcome, Chandrayan.
Hello, nice to be here.
Yeah. So I'll start with a very direct question, Chandrayan. Like, why do you write?
It's an innate calling. I don't think I can find a good logical explanation for this because when I was 3 4 years old, I read my first novel, which was an Enid Blyton novel, Famous Five, those children's books.
Uh-huh.
So once I started reading, I just kept reading, and after a certain point, reading wasn't enough. I had to create my own stories, and then I just, when you read from such a young age, English becomes natural.
Naturally, certainly.
I even think in English nowadays. I don't think in Bengali or Hindi. So my English base was good. So after, when I was 16, maybe I tried writing my first novel. It didn't go as well as I'd wanted to, but uske baad I just uh, built on that base, built on the created a good story, a short story, and then I began writing. It's not something I can explain. Writing is just it's a part of me. It's something I have to do.
Mm-hmm. So he says it is not something he wants to, but he have to do it, right?
Right. It's an innate
It's in
calling.
the blood, kind of, you can say.
Yes,
Now,
sometimes it's not something I can control. I just have to write.
so how was it that you just told us you started to build your own stories? So,
Hmm.
which were the first or which were the initial stories, if you remember, that came into your mind and you started making them on your own? Just in case you remember. If you do not, we can skip this question, of course.
Uh, all I remember is that all of them had to do with detectives, because I was, from Famous Five, Secret Seven. They're all children's groups who investigate mysteries.
Mm-hmm.
So my I love the mystery genre. So it's just the all the stories that I wrote at that point were all detective stories, but they weren't. I mean, they weren't particularly good, but they were all detective stories.
Seems extremely motivating, huh? But from all the genres, what made you choose write crime thrillers? Are you like correlating your studies into law with your writings, trying to become a lawyer who can sense every fishy thing happening around and solve the cases?
It is law. Law is. I want law to be separate from my writing.
Okay.
Uh, Crime thrillers. Again, I don't know. Mystery. I love mysteries. I love a good, that exercising your brain, the who did it part of that, the suspense part.
Mm-hmm.
That I love. Every time I read a crime novel, a suspense novel, it's just I don't want to stop reading it because I need to know what happened. I need to know who did it. So I wanted to recreate that. And trailers are just, it's, I can't write anything set over 10 to 20 years and slow paced. I need it fast paced.
Uh-huh.
So is my stories generally are spaced over one week. That's it.
So
So
it's like if you'll start writing about love, तो इतने प्यार में भी वक्त नहीं जल्दी हो, हाँ?
I don't
It's
book
like,
a
हाँ.
PhD with years and years of material.
Great, great. So प्यार हो तो जल्दी हो. I like that. मतलब वो जो पुराने आशिक थे उनका जो बैठे रहना था वो तो बर्बाद चला गया.
Yeah, इस generation में नहीं है.
Mischievous. So tell us something about your first book, Birth of a Duo.
My first, you need to know I have two central characters. One's Aditya Gokhel, who was a fictionalized version of me,
Mm-hmm.
and one's Radha Bose, private investigator. So
Okay.
I wanted my one of my main characters to be female because the damsel in distress role is too overdone. I need a strong female character who
Mm-hmm.
whom people follow. Not she doesn't follow others. Others follow her.
Okay.
So I needed that kind of a strong female centric character. That
Mm-hmm.
was Radha Bose. So the thing is, Aditya Gokhale is me. So was me, not his. I've created a difference now. But
Okay.
he was me, clinically depressed, had panic attacks every day, um, major anxiety issues. So he pairs up with Radha Bose, who used to be a soldier, who quit because of things my viewers will come to know if they read the novel because it's too dark for me to discuss it here. So they she quit the army and developed PTSD, post traumatic stress disorder. So being I as I said, I always whenever I write in the crime thriller genre because
Mm-hmm.
that's my go-to genre.
Mm-hmm.
But personally, I've been suffering from mental health issues since I was 14. So and
Okay.
now I'm 21. So that's in my entire adolescent life. So that's all I know.
Mm.
So and it is mental health is underrepresented in fiction, at least as far as I know. So I wanted to write a crime thriller that incorporates mental health as a central plot point.
Uh-huh.
So now, as for how I came to write Birth of a Duo, I honestly don't remember how the idea came to me. But I just remember I wrote a short story, and then I thought that was my first real eureka moment. This is I can adapt this into a full length story. That dream I always had of wanting a paperback book with my name on it is now within
Beautiful.
reach.
Beautiful.
So I wrote it, and then I self-published.
Beautiful. So, all the viewers out there, he tries to sound very depressed, but trust me, he's extremely smart. As you can understand, he just sold his book saying, you want to know more? Read the book. Yeah, cool. And to all the viewers, again, I would ask you personally to read the book because it has the kind of suspense which is needed into the thrillers. So, यार एक बात बताओ मेरे को कोलकाता में ठंड में नहीं है क्या बिल्कुल भी?
कोलकाता में था, but now it's less. कोलकाता में this winter has been strange क्योंकि दिसंबर के बीच में भी nothing happened. फिर दिसंबर के बीच से it started getting colder, and by 1st January it was really cold, and then it just vanished. So
इधर अपन टोपी पर टोपी पहन के बैठे हैं तब भी ठंड लग रही है.
वही तो देख लो, इधर ऐसा कुछ नहीं है.
Delhi is like extreme cold these days.
It
बहुत ही
is still cold now. मतलब बीच में it got summered like well, लेकिन अभी फिर से ठंडा थोड़ा पड़ रहा है. It's not that cold.
चलेगा तुम्हारा वो जो था. चलो ठीक है. We'll talk about it a little after. Yeah. So, why did you think of writing going forward with the same detectives and write another book? Like, share something about The Rage Within, your second book.
it just I love them. My two characters. I love my characters. They're it's complicated how I view these two characters because to the Rage Within, I wrote it. It was effortless. I could just craft the conversations and how the characters interacted. It was easy. It was just natural. Now I'm trying to write a standalone novel with different characters, a different setting. It's just wow, so much work. Naturally, nahi aa raha hai. I need to build. But with Aditya Vokhela and Radha Bose, they're real people in my head. So you
Okay.
know,
You
it's
live
like
with them, huh?
a medium through which they tell their story. So I represent them. Actually I don't dictate their actions. They act of their own accord, and I just write everything down what they do.
Hmm.
It sounds kind of crazy, but it's how I view these two characters. So it's just I'm not ready to leave them behind yet. So for this series, at least these two characters will be the central characters. And as for what the Rage Within was about, I actually once I finish writing a story, I forget all about it. I just remember all the personal plot points. I remember
Personal
everything.
learnings, rather, I would say.
I remember all the interpersonal dramas between Aditya and Radha. I just don't remember all the ins and outs of the plot itself. So,
This
oh,
happened.
yes, the
This
Rage
happened
with.
with me once as well. Like somebody, like I had like many characters in my book, and somebody after a couple of months told asked a question about a character named as Ishana. I was like, "Ye kaun hai?"
Happens with me as
And
well.
the person was like the person was a reader, of course, not my friend. And the person was like, "Sorry, am I talking to Gaurav only?" So I replied, "Oh, I'm really sorry." So this happens. And tell me, I personally want to know how much time did you take to complete one book?
It depends. Birth of a Duo, it took a while. It took what I think,
Couple of years.
not couple of years, 1 year, 1.5 years, I think. उसके
Mhm.
बाद इसके बाद the characters just became natural. So the Rage Within took 6 months, and my latest book took I think 4 to 5 months of the first draft. So
Okay. So this sounds dark, but beautiful, I would say. Yeah. So, what did you compile in your third book, Too Far Gone? And how many more are you planning to write with the same characters, the personal detectives?
I'm planning 5 books.
Wow.
So three have been written, and Too Far Gone really begins the final trilogy. It's overarching. My first three books, I wrote them in such a way that if the reader doesn't want to read Birth of a Duo, they don't have to. They can just start from the Rage with it. So,
You saying this on live session? Do not reveal it because people will then start buying the other one directly.
nah, I hate Birth of a Duo. I
I'm
wrote it.
truthful, huh? I'm truthful. Let
I
don't.
wrote it when I was 19. It's not that good, but
Uh-huh.
Rage Within से शुरू करो. So
Sure. I like it. ये darkness चल रही है इसकी देखो. Great, great.
so
Yeah, tell us about the book.
Too Far Gone. I just thought ki let's even let's amp it up. Let's introduce some action into the series.
Okay.
Let's make the character drama more prominent.
Uh-huh.
Let's ramp everything up. That was the idea. So the book is really a teenager sees a girl calling out to him for help,
Mhm.
but when he goes to her location, she's not there. She was when she called out, she was bleeding, but there's no blood there. There's nothing. It's just vacuum. There's nothing. So he's freaked out, and he comes to our two detectives for help. That's the basic setup. What what follows is Well, we just go down the rabbit hole. It just keeps getting darker and darker and darker and more action packed until the end. So that's the book.
Okay. So again, to all viewers, he has sold it again. कि भाई जाके पढ़ लो. Great. Like I'm extremely moved by your way of taking the characters forward from first book to the second and third, and you want to write five with them. And I myself will apply the same in my upcoming books. So now I personally want to know, how do you get these ideas for your novels?
For just from everyday life, Birth of a Duo was, I loved reading crime thrillers. I wanted to write a crime thriller of my own. I
Mhm,
wanted to incorporate mental health issues that
mhm.
I like to say I'm every psychology student's wet dream because I have so much wrong, but it makes for compelling fiction. So uh, that's how I wrote Birth of a Duo. Rage Within, it's the same thing. Just now, I don't remember how exactly I got those plot points, but I got them from everyday life. Now, Too Far Gone, I do remember. Uh, I like to go. Sometimes I like to go to the roof of my building and just hang out there, listen to music, just escape everything for
Get
30
stoned,
minutes.
huh?
So I need that alone time. So I just one day I thought, what if I see someone there and then I go and she's not there, and that became the book. So that central premise just comes to my mind out of the blue. I don't know how it does, and after that I build everything around that.
Great, great. So there was just single thought, and with that single thought, you made a story
Yes.
everywhere, right? So that was beautiful. So all the viewers who want to become authors out there can get a single thought and try building a story around it, and you might end up writing a novel as well, right, Chandrayan?
Right.
Hmm. Like great. So we would like to know, what do you think differentiate your work from other crime thrillers out there? Like how would you differentiate it?
Crime thrillers generally are, I got a huge inspiration for me for this series was those Cormoran Strike series written by
Uh-huh.
J.K. Rowling,
Uh-huh.
those crime thrillers. They're the only it's the only series I've read where emotion is really played up in the story. It's not just about the crime; it's about the characters as well. And my books obviously take it up to a whole different level because the way I see my books is they're character dramas first and crime thrillers second.
Uh-huh.
And a lot of my readers have said that it one even described the books as self-help books because they're
Yeah.
they speak to the human condition. But uh, that's I think what differentiates my work from everyone else's because even the series it's inspired from the J.K. Rowling's Cormoran Strike series, it 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 doesn't play on human emotion as much.
Uh-huh.
My books, people love to think, not love to think, people love to relate. People love to relate to characters they see on the screen, read on their book, uh, and as entertaining as say Captain America is, I can't relate to Captain America. I can't. So I wanted to create a book where a series where the characters were not larger than life. They were flawed. They were flesh and blood. You could read this and say that's what's wrong with you. So the characters, you can psychoanalyze the characters just by reading a few lines of their dialogue. That's how I wanted to create the story, that these are flawed characters going about their lives. It just so happens that their lives involves uh, digging up crimes. That's how I wanted to write. So that's I think what differentiates my work from everyone else's, that it focuses on emotion. It focuses on mental health issues, and they're not patronizing. It other mental health related books I've read, they're kind of, I don't know, they're kind. I just felt like they were talking down to the, you
Well,
know,
I hope your books are, like, I believe your books are leaving the author with a positive note, right?
they are
Beautiful.
the first book at least. Now the third one is kind
And
of,
the first one you're asking people not to read, huh? You're
huh,
asking them to start from the second one.
but that one was the positive ending one. The second one, oh no, that was also the positive ending one.
ये
Okay,
यार
ठीक है,
बोल रहा है अभी.
ठीक है. So Too Far Gone is the only one which is dark all around.
So the next one, which you would be writing, I hope you're gonna end it on a positive note.
Oh no,
ये देखो ये अलग. You want to differentiate it again, but you're not leaving it on the positive note.
no. This is as I started saying. This is the final trilogy. So you have to read Too Far Gone to know what happens next,
Mm-hmm.
and it will all culminate in the fifth book. And the fifth book, I do have a nice ending in mind, but the journey there will kind of be bumpy. But there are even for Too Far Gone, I know I probably shouldn't do this, but I read every review, line by line, letter by letter, to know how what they thought,
How?
how I can
Yeah,
improve
yeah,
my.
yeah. What changes should be made afterwards if needed?
So even for Too Far Gone, I read reviews that said it has moments where it's heart touching at moments.
Mhm.
You
Beautiful.
like reading it. So that it's a character drama first. So just like we have ups and downs, these characters also have ups and downs. So it's not completely dark, it's not completely happy, it's human.
एंड में जाके ह्यूमर करके इसने सब खत्म कर दिया. बहुत बढ़िया. Great. So, after knowing this much about you and your work, I'm extremely curious about what career are you choosing to be into? Are you like going to be an author, or want to be a full-time lawyer, or want to mix each other and write a case as new stories, launching books?
I don't think I can be a full-time author because I like to be engaged every second of every day.
Uh-huh.
So writing a lot of writing is thinking, it's waiting.
Uh-huh.
And while I wait, I'm doing something else. So the idea is incubating. So I need that something else. It's essential. From now, I'm getting it as my duties as a law student. So when I graduate, I'm hoping that it will be lawyer by day, writer by night, lifestyle like that.
Okay, so it's a personal question. What time of the day do you feel is the best to write?
I'd say that depends entirely on the person. I
No,
don't
about you, I'm asking.
Me, there's no set time. My brain doesn't abide by a clock. So sometimes subha utھ ke hi I dictate. I mean, type of get chapter after chapter. Sometimes I find that रात के 3:30 बज गए सो जाना चाहिए नहीं और एक chapter लिख लेते हैं. So it's like that. It's whenever my mind is. It's
Whenever
just
you
not my
feel
mind.
like, so there's no set time basically. Whenever you feel like you can write,
Yes.
because there are people like I myself as somebody who writes best after like 12 a.m. So, or maybe like early morning.
मेरा ऐसा नहीं है. I write in bursts. For 5 days, all I can do is write. उसके
Mhm.
बाद the next 5 days, I can't even look at my keyboard. So
तो बहुत लिख लिया हाँ?
उसके बाद फिर से I write in bursts. So when I'm in the middle of those bursts, whenever I want to write, I write.
Hmm. So, what's upcoming? What are you planning to write next?
I have no clue. I have two options ahead of me. I can write the fourth book of the series, or I can write, as I said, I'm writing a standalone. So I have two options, and both I want to do both so badly that I'm ending up doing neither of them. ye karo, I mean, if I do this, I feel like I'm missing out on that. If I do that, I'm missing out on this. So it's just I need to figure out a schedule. कि I'll write this book this much now, this book this much then.
Then,
Until I do that, I'm just twiddling my thumbs.
so you planning to change your genre as well sometimes later?
I can because anything but romance. That's my thing. Anything but romance. Romance as a side plot is it's moving. I've read mystery books. I've watched movies where it was advertised as thrillers, but there were romantic plots involved, and it just felt natural and it felt good.
Mhm.
But romance as the sole focus, I can
Cheesy.
neither read that,
You
watch
feel
that,
cheesy.
nor write it.
You find it cheesy, huh?
Uh,
Karaha. Okay. So I would love it if you would share something to motivate or guide the aspiring lawyers who want to be authors to keep up with their passion.
I think it's just a matter of you know carving out enough time for writing, because as the life of a law student is pretty hectic. There are thousands of cases. There are innumerable number of legislations that, and law school only teaches you a fraction of those legislations.
Mhm.
So you come out of the your law school not with a complete knowledge of the legal system, but only with the basic skeleton.
Okay.
And the rest you have to fill up as you go along in your professional career.
You understand it throughout.
So even then, even then, law school is hectic, and you're going to be hard pressed to find time to write. But if it's a passion like it's mine, then you're going to push out other things and make time for writing. Every writer needs to figure out his own schedule, and the only thing I can say from my own experience is that let them complement each other, because um, when you're in law school, you're studying case after case, you're studying legislation after legislation. It even for the most driven law student, it just becomes kind of mundane at times.
Monotonous.
You're reading line after line, text after text, with no breaks in between. So when you feel like that, just write. Just dive into your imagination, live in another world, write, take that break, then go back. That's what I do from time to time.
So, what do you think? These two professions can go hand in hand or not?
It's been done before. I mean, I haven't read any of his books, but I hear John Grisham is a lawyer turned writer.
Okay.
But first few years, it's going to be challenging because I want to be a corporate lawyer. So working in a company from morning to evening and then finding time to write, it's going to be hard. But once you have that base, I think then I could be able to juggle both of them well.
What do you think? A lawyer, can he or she write something into romance?
Of course they can. It's just that I don't want to. Everyone's different. Everyone has different ideas and different passions.
Great, great, great. It was amazing learning so much from you, and I myself will apply in my writings afterwards, and will thank you personally when I'll do that. So it was lovely understanding so much of law, so much of writing crime and how things can go hand in hand, because there are people who are watching you, understanding how they can be into the writing profession as being lawyers, and how they can understand or how they can manipulate the stories or the cases going out there and then write things. So it was very enlightening having you here on the show,
My pleasure. It was my pleasure.
and I'm extremely thankful for you to spare your precious time on a Saturday. People
No,
generally
I
call
was thinking it. I
people
just had gaming on my agenda.
yeah, लगे कह रहे नहीं नहीं मैं busy नहीं था ठीक है नहीं नहीं thank you so much Chandrayan, And it was lovely having you. From all the viewers out there, I thank you personally. Thank you.
Thank you. It was my pleasure.
Good night, take care. And to all the viewers out there, I'll be meeting you again next Saturday with somebody as, no, not as dark as him, but as intellectual as him. Thank you, Chandrayan. Good night, take care. And
Thank you.
thank you, all the viewers. We love you. And anyone who want to ask anything to him directly or to me, comment and we'll be replying there. Thank you. Bye, Chandrayan. Good night.
Good night.